It's just like, this is just so bloody cool. You go, no, dude, you're on the cover of the magazine. Me. It's just like, Lee Ralph sort of schooled me on how to take better skate photos.
That's what I call beautiful chaos.
And these sorts of photos mean as much, if not more to me than the skating photos. So I went away for 6 years and joined the military and learned to march and fire weapons and also learn photography. And they would pay me, myself as a creative director, cons as the foreman, and everybody else as the hired help. I'm enjoying the photos even more than I used to, and just this want to share it with people.
Welcome to the Flats for another episode. Special episode this week. Feature episode. We're partnering up with Sancho and the Dirty Laundry and David Pang, the iconic David Pang. Welcome
Legendary.
to the Flats. Legendary.
Maybe a bit too much praise there.
No, well, it's been great. We a few weeks ago got to explore your collection in your archive of photos. We put that out yesterday, so people have been watching it and loving it, and the response has been awesome. So really cool to see the comments and everything. So we'll touch on that today a bit more because
Definitely.
We've got so much to talk about, and it's going to be exciting these new episodes with Sancho. So thank
Great
you
idea.
for coming in.
So good.
Thanks for inviting me.
And what have we got here for a start? We're going to take a look at a few things today. We got you post a lot of your stuff online, so we can pull up stuff. But you've also got some of the collection here.
Well, whether I start a new trend, but another podcast that I look at fairly frequently is the Skateboarding 9 Club.
Yes.
Hosted by Chris Roberts and a cast of others. And over the years, the guests have come along and bring gifts. So I thought I would start the trend and brought you both a package of Pang photo and Canberra Regional School Skater stickers. Cool. And Sancho and I were laughing just before the show started and said, "Isn't that bloody crazy? I'm a 60-year-old man and I get excited about stickers."
Yeah, same. My customers vibe out on stickers. We have a big sticker box on the counter and it's all ages.
Skate shops have that as well. So you can have the premium stickers and pay for them.
Yeah.
Or there's like a lolly jar, almost like a guitar shop.
Yeah.
Pick bucket, and you can, if you buy something, you can just
browse
lucky dip and take a few stickers. But people annihilate each other at contests for the sticker toss. But they're good. I love stickers, and we try and share the stoke with the Canberra Regional School Skaters. So the events that we run, and we're fortunate we've got John Mexi Parry, brother of Paul Parry from the Cross Crew, who's an awesome graphic designer, and hopefully he might be back in Canberra sometime soon. So he does most of our graphics for us. And anyway, so a gift, and maybe it'll start the trend.
Yeah. Very cool.
And awesome video, Nick. I think a few of us have posted it up and it's been reposted, and I think people thought, oh, it's so short,
that was
could be 5 times longer.
We'll have to do a second issue.
Yeah,
we have so much in the archives.
That was the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, very much so. But no, awesome response, and really cool to see it firsthand as well. But Sancho, why don't we first start with your vision a bit for these episodes and the idea behind them, and why you chose Dave Pang to launch the first episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Chose me first. Wow.
Well, I've kind of been talking to you about this over a year ago, but the timing was just a bit off, just with having the little one and being so time poor. But I genuinely want to sort of distill the experiences and the people that I've met through Sancho's Dirty Laundry, because I was sort of just thinking back, like I've almost been doing this for 14 years and I've met so many colourful personalities, tortured artists, eccentrics, and like my life is so much more richer for it, and I kind of wanted to share these personal stories and experiences. And
the connections you make. So the first time I met you, you hosted a cafe bike show.
Yeah, the Canberra cafe races
with Simon Whitaker.
Yeah.
So and talk about 6 degrees of separation. So from there, and I took my camera with me because that's what photographers do.
Yeah.
And Simon and I got chatting, and he then contacted me about a month after that show, and he had built a cafe racer bike that had a skateboard rack on it.
Yeah.
And he got the skateboard painted up and designed to go with his bike, and we went to is that it there?
That's one of his builds, yeah.
And and so we went to Western Skate Park and took some photographs and things, and then more 6 degrees of separation.
There's Simon there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might even have that as an album on the Facebook page.
Yeah, this is yours.
This is
Yeah.
Nick's all over it.
Yeah. And but funnily, so I've got a very good friend, Bill Guthrie, or I should call him William Guthrie because he always calls me Floyd, which is my middle name. But Bill Guthrie is a very good friend of mine, and he restores and collects scooters, so Lambrettas and Vespas and things. And I think those sorts of bikes evolve over time and become cafe races. So there's a bit of an association between scooters and Simon Whitaker. So Bill and Simon know each other and do the Distinguished Gentleman's
every year they do
bike
the charity ride. Yeah.
And then Bill goes, I was doing some stuff at my parents' place in Farrer the other day, and would you believe Simon Whitaker's family live over the side fence?
Yeah,
and they didn't even know. They never knew each other when they grew up.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's
so
classic
from
Canberra though. Yeah.
Sancho's Dirty Laundry is the meeting place.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
and then you had shredders.
That was in partnership with Lachlan. Yeah, so that's how the store started.
That was
as
a different
pop-up.
Was that at the shredder shop as well?
I'd won this
because it was down an alleyway. Like the bikes were down an alleyway.
Yeah, so that was Chop Shop. So we had this that was in the warehouse next to the shredders, to the Lonsdale Street Traders where Shredders and Dirty Laundry was.
Right,
yeah, so Lachlan and I started the shop together, but it was like 2 shops in the one space.
Yes,
so he did Shredder's board store and I did Sancho's Dirty Laundry, and it was a way to sort of like shoulder the costs between us and share the risk. And then we sort of went our separate ways. And then after we'd sort of like separated and moved into separate spots, the warehouse next door was sort of proposed to me as like, there's a space that's waiting approval. There's like 6 to 8 months where it's going to be empty. Do you want to do like a pop-up there? And that's sort of how Chop Shop started. And that's where Simon had his Canberra Cafe Racer like show and shine.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where we did the screening for the Pappas doco, All This Mayhem, which we had your images like pasted up.
That's right.
On the walls. Yeah. Yeah, that was a time.
14 years ago.
14 years ago, yeah. I was actually thinking back to that. I think that night we had the screening and I think it was the same night that the VBs then played and a few other bands. And then I was thinking about this funny story where like, do you know Taz? Taz worked for us in the bar.
Yes.
Like Taz Sharker?
Yes,
yeah. And I was thinking about that night where like we had rivets, those beers that you get from Aldi, the really ghetto Rivettos. Yeah. And that was like our budget beer. And we'd sort of like amassed all these boxes out the back. And everyone was so riled up from the doco and then the bands that someone started building this like cardboard box tower and set it on fire. And none of us realized what was going on except for Taz. He was like, I smell smoke. Like, and so he saved the night. He got like the alcohol slop bucket and like threw it and distinguished it. And
there's a fine line between, especially with skaters and artists.
That was one of the best nights that we've ever had at Chop Shop. I was like, that's what I call beautiful chaos. I was just like, I just got to see like the rawness of the skate community under our roof.
And then you put in a grant for ACT government to do some art thing, and it's like, can you just do this risk assessment? It's like, or can you cite any examples of other projects you've run with?
Yeah.
Skaters.
It's a funny one.
Yeah. And Canberra having Conzi, geez, there's some stories to tell.
Yeah, well, he'll get his own section in the book, no doubt.
Pros and cons.
Yeah. So tell us more about your book.
So, I'm turning the ripe age of 60, and my wonderful wife and I are empty nesters. Yep. So I've got a bit of free time, and it's a perfect timing in a way, even with yourself approaching me and Nick doing the video and a few other things that I've got to this point of maturity where I've looked at my photos and gone, oh, gee, they're more than just images that go into a magazine, and I'd like to share them and have something tangible there for people to reflect on in years to come. So I've set the date. I'm turning 60, so I'm going to do this book, coincide it with next year's Belco Bowl Jam. Hopefully do an art gallery show with Adam Bell, and we were just chatting before the show about possibly approaching some artists and doing some artwork on skateboards as well. Yep. And the show will run from just before the Belco Bowl Jam to our Old Guys Slalom event on the March long weekend. So I'm calling the book 60/60, so I play on the foundational vert trick of 50/50. So I've got to select or whittle down to 60 full-page photographs with some supplementary photos.
How do you do that? Like, what's the criteria to narrow that? Like, will it be based on skaters or events or? I'm
approaching. I'm sort of hopeful if the book is well received, I'll do some other books. But I've looked at this book being like a kaleidoscope, so it's not the bangers or these great dynamic shots of skaters doing their thing, and interestingly, some of my favourite photos are the more lifestyle social photos. So my favourite photo is a photo taken at the second hardcore ramp ride at Corio. So it's at this feature called the Paint Dish. So it's like a flat concrete slab that goes downhill and then goes into like a curved quarter pipe, and it's got curved sides. But the photo that I've taken is all the skaters standing at the start area, at the high part of the concrete slab. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is there's just the icons, the legends of, or not the legends, because they were like the top pros of skating from America, Australian and New Zealand pros, and then there's just Happy Joe come likely. Standing there shoulder to shoulder with Lee Ralph and Christian Hosoi, and it's just like, this is just so bloody cool. Like, don't
know if it's in this gallery, but it's the portrait gallery on your.
And the only other sport that I can think of where the general public get to rub shoulders with their sporting heroes would be pro cycling, like the Tour de France,
Oh,
where where you've got the people running along and
Yeah.
throwing water, and that crazy guy that dresses up as the Satan, the devil, and his pitchfork, and so. And these sorts of photos mean as much, if not more, to me than the skating photos. And don't get me wrong, I get really excited and try and emulate. I'm still trying to emulate some of my photographic heroes like Grant Britton,
Yep.
Todd Swank, Mickey Verkovich, Ted Terrebonne, James Casmius, and even some of the people I admired in Australia. So the OG Canberra skateboarder, and that's what I should clarify. I'm not the OG Canberra skateboarder. There was two photographers, a gentleman that now lives in Melbourne, Cameron Wells, and another fellow, Mark Eaton, Pook was his name, and he was a really good friend of Tim Witten's. So Tim Witten's the fellow who I took a photograph of. It was my first ever proper skate photo.
Yeah.
And I just used to look at all and these photos Mark and Cameron Wells took, and that's what I've always done, looked at the photos that I admired and tried to emulate them.
Yeah.
And a slightly funny story or interesting story is when I was photographing Lee Ralph. So and there's a great documentary, if people haven't seen it, called Barefoot, a 10 series documentary on YouTube. So Lee came from New Zealand and spent time in Australia and just annihilated skating in Australia before he went to America and got his own pro model and just changed the face of skateboarding at that time in the mid-'80s. But I was taking some photos one day and he goes, "Oh, Dave, when Lance Mountain and some of the other photographers or skaters who took photos and photographers take photos, they not only do they have the camera that you're like, or the flash that you're holding in your hand, but they have another." I think that's one of my photos there. They also put a flash on keep a flash on their camera as well. So Lee Ralph sort of schooled me on how to take better skate photos. So not only did he inform and push the skaters, but he helped me make much better skate photos as well.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have like formal training in photography, or is
Yes.
this sort of like a DIY?
I am formally trained. So when I went to school, I went to Melrose High School, and they had a photo course that was part of the science course. So I dabbled in that a little bit, and then I dabbled in it, and I really liked it, and so I did a little bit of research in the colleges in Canberra, and Narrabundah College was the only school that had a tertiary accredited photo course, and that was run by the legendary Les Kovacs, who's unfortunately passed away now, and he's influenced and started the careers both photographically and in other areas for many, many Canberrans. And so I mentioned that to my father, and he wasn't too keen on myself going to Narrabundah College, but the saving grace was it was also a multicultural school, and it was the only school that offered Chinese as a language.
Oh, there you go.
So,
Yeah.
so the quid pro quo was I could go to I could go to Narrabundah College and do the photographic course and a number of other courses, as long as one of those other courses was the Chinese course.
That's cool. Yeah.
And I did quite well at photography.
How'd you go with Chinese?
Oh, no good.
It's quite challenging though, isn't it? That's quite, because there's many different dialects.
And man, there are some very smart people that go to Narrabundah College. There was this one gentleman one guy in our class. His Christian name was Heinrich. I can't remember what his surname was. He was Scandinavian, and I think he spoke about 12 different languages. but he's one of these people, and because he spoke so many languages, he would sort of go, oh, and like talk about, I couldn't even understand what he's talking about, but the structure and the grammatical makeup of sentences and this, that, and the next thing, and relating it, and in Latin they do this and that, and in Swedish language they do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I think I stuck it out for the first year 11.
Yeah.
And then I went on to other subjects instead of Chinese.
And your parents were okay with that? Your dad was
they were cool.
You tried.
Yeah, I tried. And funnily, now I'm a grandparent, so whether it happens when you get a little bit older, but I try and pick up at least to be able to say hello to, if we've got workers from other cultures in our workplace. But I still, I'd sort of say ni hao ma to the grandkids when I pick them up and say Jan, and so I can sort of maybe as many words as I've got fingers on my hands in Chinese. So I'm trying.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah. So, but Les Kovacs, absolute legendary teacher, and I remember, and even I still we used to visit him quite regularly, or at least a couple of times a year. So he moved from Canberra to Braidwood, and Jodie and I would go and visit him and his wife Judith, and met the rest of his family. And I'd always bring him up and go, oh, Mr. Kovacs, what are you doing this weekend? And da-da-da. And he goes, David, you can call me Les if you like. And so when we started the course, so in the college system, you addressed all the teachers by their Christian name. Oh. But when we went into the photographic, is it the same with you? Like when you went to college, you called the teachers by their
Oh, I went to private school till year 10 and then Bunda for year 11 and 12, which was my creative awakening, which was awesome. Best time ever. Yeah.
For like a really old building, it was just so cutting edge and innovative and open-minded. It was just really good vibes at that school.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we addressed all the teachers by their Christian name, and when we all started the photographic course, Mr. Kovacs says hello, and he was from the Scandinavian European area. I think I'll get it wrong if I say what country he was from. He goes, oh, my name is Mr. Kovacs, and we're doing the photographic course, and it is like a master apprentice sort of thing, and for that reason I would appreciate if you addressed me as Mr. Kovacs. Oh. And everyone did. Like they just, and it wasn't he sort of explained it was this master apprentice, and that's the rationale behind it. And I think everyone still refers to him as Mr. Kovacs.
Just respected that.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful man.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess from there, like, because you served in the military.
Yes. So from there, and obviously Dad was pretty chuffed that at least I gave a bit of an effort towards the Chinese, and he could see that my passion was photography. So when I was nearing the end of college, the end of year 12, we sat down and started talking about it, and my hat off to him. We sat down and identified the different types of photographic careers that were available, and that was back in the days with analog photography, so film, going into dark rooms, doing printing and all those sorts of things. You couldn't look in the back screen and see if you got there. Delete. And so we go, okay, there's newspaper photography and this, that, and the next thing. And he made phone calls, and I did like work experience, or went and visited these places for a day each. And so that included going and visiting Heidi Smith. So she was the top professional photographer in Australia. So she did portraits and commercial work, and produced quite a number of books. And my dad was an academic. He was a doctor by profession, but an academic, and so he spent a lot of time at the ANU. So I went and had a look at the John Curtin Medical School that had a photographic department.
Yep.
And somehow he found out that the military or the Air Force had photographers. So I went out to RAF Base Fairburn and spent a day there. And and the equipment they're using was second to none, the best equipment available. And the options were be a cadet with a newspaper,
Yep.
Do these other things, or go to somewhere like RMIT and have quite a few $1,000s to fund the course and rent and all those sorts of things,
Yeah.
or dress up in a smart suit, do an interview, see if I get through the selection criteria, sign away for 6 years and join the military and learn to march and fire weapons and also learn photography. And they would pay me to do the photographic course, and it was almost 12 months. So I thought, 6 years, man, that's not as long as I've been at school, so I'll give it a nudge. And I obviously liked it because I did 25 years in the Air Force. So I did 25 years.
Yep.
And my first posting after the course was to Sydney, out to RAF Base Richmond in the west of Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
And coincidentally, one of my skate buddies, Matt Davis, moved from who I used to skate with at the original skate park in Woden, moved to Sydney. And so when I got posted to Sydney, I contacted him back in the days without mobile phones and landline.
Yeah.
So I had to find where he was, but contacted him, and he started all the contacts with the skateboarding community in Sydney. And the Air Force was great. They were like, well, you can do continuation training in your own time. You can use your equipment as long as you're not making money out of the
craft.
Out of your craft.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, beauty. So
Yeah, sweet deal.
yeah, using the best equipment
So you were
around,
using their equipment.
their equipment to start off with, to
Yeah.
just take photographs. And I was really taking it for my own interest and to try and emulate was in the magazines. And that was, skateboarding was in a bit of a lull then in the early to mid 80s. And then it bounced back and the peaks and troughs with trends and things. And that's when like the Bones Brigade and Lee Ralph and Vision and Gator and all those sorts of things happened. And then there were a few magazines in Australia as well as the American magazines really started to fire on all fours, and things fell into place, and I got some photographs published in Australian magazines and overseas.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
What were you taking photos of in the military, like, and you did postings overseas and stuff?
Yeah,
a lot of people might not know that there were embedded photographers in.
And the military still has photographers, but keeping in mind it was in the analog days, so film, dark rooms, etc. So be it from they're fairly straightforward, but like you'd expect, like portraits of the senior officers. The military facilitates lots and lots of courses and course photos and things. But in the Air Force, a lot of our work was engineering photography. So the stresses and strains they put the aircraft through, and they were also modifying them, etc.
Yeah.
So anytime they did a modification, we then had to photograph everything they changed, or the aircraft and parts of the aircraft before they did the modification, and then after they did the modification, photograph it as well.
Yeah.
So they had a record of it because the technicians didn't have digital cameras and could do it. So they're all the engineers and technicians are doing it
this
themselves.
Is still all film as well.
This was all with film and crawling inside aircraft wings and et cetera, but also after all aircraft, after X number of hours of flight, they go through different sort of servicing regimes, from just a after-flight checkup and what have you, to deep level maintenance where they basically pull the aircraft to pieces and they would get us to photograph, and they would inspect the aircraft to the extent that they would check every rivet on the surface of the aircraft, and if it had any sign of a stress crack, they would highlight that, we would photograph it, and they would keep a record of it, but they'd also send the photographs and the documentation to the company that makes the aircraft, and so that manufacturer has a big database and could see if there's any trends, and certainly, oh wow, these rivets at this position on the wing, there's a trend that they're showing stress fractures, and then their engineers would try and come up with a fix, and they'll send out a notification, okay, you've got to do this mod, and they call it a modification, and that would happen to the whole fleet across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, back
Do you
in the
reckon doing that kind of photography really fueled this as a creative outlet? Because I guess that's more like structured and mundane and routine, and then you've got this where it's just like
100%.
chaos, high energy, high intensity.
Yes, yeah. And I had pretty damn good equipment that I could leverage off as well. Yeah. But it was good times, like really good times with the Air Force.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have stuck it out. Like 6 years came up, I was like, well, this is a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
But I travelled, so Sydney, got posted back to Canberra, so back home, which is a weird thing, but that was good as well because I was back in Canberra in 1988, so that was when the bicentenary was on, so got to, and they had the helicopter school at Fairburn, so, and the crew there were really accommodating and always up for a fun ride, so to speak. So, and they've another regime with pilots is they've got to do a minimum number of flying hours every month to keep their currency. So we would sort of like ring up and go, anyone got any spare time? Or they would even say, oh, look, we're going to do, we haven't done flying up in the Alps for a while, and it's really cold up there, but it's not blizzard-like. We're going up to the snow. Do you want to come along? And we're sending a couple of choppers up there. Do you want to come and take some photographs? So we would get the Guernsey to go, and they always wanted photographs of themselves flying the aircraft with nice backgrounds and things.
Yeah, cool.
So did that, but they were building the Parliament House, so we used to fly over and photograph progress of Parliament House. Yeah, aerial photographs and things. So good times.
Yeah, cool. And I guess all these photos are property of like the military. Hey, you don't
yes,
really
yes,
have,
yeah.
like,
So, I mean, another really nice thing that I had the opportunity to do. Like I said, I was at Fairburn during the bicentenary, and being our bicentenary, 1988, we got lots of VIPs visiting, so the Queen, opening Parliament House and Prince Andrew. But I also got to photograph Nelson Mandela. Oh, cool. So he came and visited Canberra around that time. Yeah. So I showed that to one of the members of the Snow family, that and Prince, one of the royal members. And he goes, oh, that'd be great. I'd love to have that in our archive somewhere. I said, I'd love to give it to you, but it's not my property
to give.
So. But I mean, to say that I got close and personal, or reasonably close and personal to Nelson Mandela is quite nice as well. Yeah,
very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
And then so where does, so was that around the time that Canberra had like the Woden skate park? Where does that sort of slot into the timeline?
The original commercial Woden skate park, I stand corrected, but I think it opened very late 1970s.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think it closed 81, maybe 82. Okay. So it was definitely closed when I came back to Canberra in 88. And the Canberra skate community was very fortunate, and I suppose this is a pretty good segue to talk about local skate shops and things. But one of the original Canberra skate shops was called Surf Scene in Woden Plaza. So it's sort of above the spiral. It used to be near above the spiral staircase where sort of McDonald's is on the ground floor at Woden Plaza, and Fred was like a legendary guy and a bit of an engineer as well. So after those Perspex ramps got moved on, and I think they went up to Foster in New South Wales, on the New South Wales coast, Fred built I think it was a metal framed wooden half pipe, which was significantly smaller in width to that Perspex ramp, but that was the only place that we could skate vert in Canberra.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
no, I stand corrected. There was Canberra half pipe, but
Yep.
that was pretty gnarly and wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Fred built the half pipe, and then he built a mini ramp, and that really sustained Canberra skateboarding. And I think because Fred did those sorts of things, the ACT government or whoever made the decisions for doing parks and things in the ACT were quite open-minded and motivated to do quite a number of public skate facilities. So the Canberra skate facility, Charmwood, which is on the screen there, which we were also super excited when we heard we were going to get a bowl, but I think the dimensions, they mistook meters for feet or something, because it's about only a quarter the size it should have been. So, but we had that Canberra half pipe, and then the iconic Erindale banks, which Woody and the other folk from Canberra Skateboarding Association have got it over the line that it's been listed for heritage listing, which is fantastic.
That's very cool. How many years of advocating for that has that been?
Predominantly Woody and the Canberra Skateboard Association, I think, have put 8 hard years of lobbying and paperwork and just chipping away. So, yeah, credit to those guys.
Yeah.
And including the free skate to learn to skate sessions they do every couple of weekends. I mean, they're absolute champions.
Yeah, I plan to take River to those
Yeah.
in summer.
Yeah. I mean, I think to skateboard in Canberra in winter, you've got to be damn committed.
Well, that's why I was surprised, like, Canberra doesn't have, like, an indoor park.
Yeah, we should.
Like, I thought someone would have, like, pushed for that or started that.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Chipping away. All weather, all seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think as a commercial venture, it would be a very hard slog. We just don't have the population. But
also rent would just be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like per square meter.
Yeah. I think Stromlo would be an ideal location. It's got the mountain bike thing. It's got the handlebar.
So do you reckon like an outdoor track with a covering sort of thing? Like
I think to start off with. Yeah. And they could do it progressively as well. And Stromlo just seems to, it's got the car parking.
Yeah.
It's central to Canberra, easy to get to with Tuggeranong Parkway. And I think with those sorts of facilities, and especially somewhere like Stromlo, rather than doing all these fancy things with lights and things, they should just put up dedicated like graffiti walls and like let your clients and the people that a lot of them are skateboarders as well.
Yeah.
But they do all this great work, and it's in the stormwater drains and underpaths and things.
Obscure spots.
And man, could you imagine just like driving into Stromlo and just having these walls with different artworks?
Awesome.
It would be amazing.
It would be amazing. But there's so many layers with like the graffiti management in Canberra, and then it's also like because it's considered a public space, you have to get all these residents in the area to like agree on having this location established, and then the maintenance involved and the OH&S of where the spot is, and it just becomes this like bureaucratic like.
It can be, but I think if there's a desire or the right people back it.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so cool with the skate community that you guys have this momentum through Canberra skateboarding to really push for these changes. I feel like the graph community doesn't really have that, but it would be cool if it did. Yeah.
And we're fortunate that, and I've deliberately, or consciously not put my hand up and become a formal part of the Canberra Skateboarding Association, because I like to dance to the tune of my own drum, and I think if I'm in a position of an official position, then it compromises myself
Yeah.
from doing what I want to do. And
Yourself,
we were saying
creative
earlier on
integrity.
that
Yeah.
I sort of laugh sometimes when people go, and we've spoken about slightly changing the style of painting Belco bowl, so with its iconic spider web. And when we sort of discussed that, some of the other people go, you can't do that. Like that's been heritage listed. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
like I've sort of said to some of the younger skaters, guys, I've been painting this bowl longer than you've been alive.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I've been involved in every painting of the bowl, and I've seen every iteration of the bowl from being. I actually stand corrected. Scott and Matt Brown and Lee Steele did the original painted tiles on the concrete surface bowl, and they painted tiles. So they got a couple of pizza boxes and cut out little squares.
Yeah.
And then the pizza box was their stencil
Template.
and they sprayed that on. And so and the really beautiful thing is Scott and Matt Brown are the bastions of doing the tiles. So we do all the other painting, but the tiles are left for Matt and Scott to do. And it's quite funny watching them go through the process of painting the tiles, because they're pretty much as high as kites by the time
But they get the job done, right?
They get the job done, but they're all pretty straight-laced and in control at the beginning at one side of the roll-in. And a few hours later, when they're on the other side, they're giggling and stumbling around.
Freeform.
Yeah, so maybe the supply of some sort of mask facility might be another market for you. And so before, and how the spider web came about at Belco Bowl. So after the whole park was rebuilt, other than the bowl, the council painted it, and they did like a flame motif in the bottom. And again, that was something that I initiated. So there's a fantastic photograph of American skater Bucky Lasek for an ad for, it could have been an ad for Vans or for Element, and he's in a Spanish bowl doing this amazing trick, and the paint job are these flames. And I just thought, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And so they painted that. And a couple of years later, Nike were the sponsors for, and there's some photos up there now, sponsors for, I think it was the 10th Belco Bowl Jam. So again, we painted it. We painted it blue, and then they got a commercial painter to do the Nike swoosh in the bottom and the white stripe. So it looked like a Nike shoebox. And even though we painted the whole thing blue, the painter almost fell over backwards when he came and goes, "Oh, God, I didn't realise that it was that big." And and he sort of like...
Because he couldn't see the curve.
No, just how much white paint he had to use for the instead of the tiles. Anyway, so we did that. So we skated that, etc. The real problem with skating the bowl with all one colour is it's like stepping into a green screen.
Yeah,
you've got no idea where
depth.
It was so dangerous.
Yeah.
So from there we I think we painted it black, and that's so Mike O'Mealy, who's right near, so that's Lance Mountain, I think one of the most legendary skateboarders in the world, and the nicest guy and a fantastic artist. So Mike O'Mealy was the bona fide tour photographer for Nike, and Lance Mountain's basically the team manager for Nike Skateboarding. So he's got his finger on the pulse and has got such a great team. So he teed up and arranged with Mike to get the shot of the frontside hand plan over the channel. And I consciously, first of all, I didn't want to barge Mike O'Mealy's parade. It's his shot. He's trying to make money and was commissioned to do the photograph. But I instinctively felt that I needed to get back and just photograph just all the photographers,
Like the BTS,
paparazzi, the crowd.
Yeah.
And super stoked with that photograph. It's just, I think it's the same moment that flash, that sliding lance is coming from Mike O'Mealy. Yes. So anyway, after a year or so after this, we painted the bowl black, and the Creature team were touring, and so we painted a pentagram on the bottom. So that's there's the flame. Yeah. So it's nowhere near as nice as the Spanish one, but it still looked pretty cool. Be interesting to know who the artist was. They got to do that. Were you involved in any of those sorts of things when they do public art?
Not back then. Like my store only opened, I think, like 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing
that's
pop-ups around
that's
this
a
time.
really nice thing too. Is I don't know. I think it's fantastic that the ACT government appreciates and has that communication and liaison with ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's interesting when I say we paint it, I'm sort of like the ideas person, and everyone else. Like, there's no way I could sketch out a pentagram in the bottom.
Creative director.
Yeah, I'm the creative director, and
you delegate.
yeah. So, and for clarification, I'm the creative director. Cons is the foreman. Cons can certainly round up people and motivate them. Getting Cons to work is another thing, but he's great at creating the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And yeah, so a really good friend of mine, Roscoe, is just an engineering guru. And just got masking tape out and did the pentagram, and we painted that for the Creature crew. And that's another thing that I think most skaters around the world do it, but certainly Canberra skaters, they liked. How can I put it? If we know people are visiting, we try and show our appreciation that the skaters have gone out of their way and come to Canberra, and we want them to have the facility at its best and have a good time. And so after that pentagram was put in there, unfortunately, and sadly, one of the Canberra skate icons, Todd Webster, passed away, and the council. ACT government commissioned an artist to do a piece on the wall there above the pentagram for Todd Webster, which was really nice.
Was?
I don't.
No,
I don't. I think Luke Brown would know who that is.
Okay.
Yes. So, and again, we had the same problem with the pentagram, that it was all black and you couldn't see where you were going.
Yeah.
And so from there, it was like, well, we've got the pentagram there, and we might upset a few people. Or, we might end up with sacrifices in the bottom of the bowl if we leave it there. So we just used the points of the pentagram. And I said, well, if we need some lines on there, why don't we just extend the lines up and do a cobweb?
Yep.
And that's where the cobwebs come from.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. And sometime after that, the American skateboarder, he now skates for Santa Cruz, Eric Dressen, sort of like a legendary skateboarder from the 80s and still skating now, and a tattoo artist, came to Australia and was at Bondi, and they had an art show called the Blood and Guts Art Show, which Pat Noho coordinates. And he just doodled and did this sketch, and it was a skull with the top of the head bowled out and with the spider web, and he had done in very iconic Eric Dressen lettering Belco.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I said, oh, Eric, look, I'm from Canberra and Belco's my local. How much would it cost to buy that? Like, I'd like to put my red dot on it now. He goes, oh, packet of cigarettes.
What?
I was going, what? Really?
That's so cool.
Yeah. So I purchased that artwork from Eric and had it on show, and Luke Brown was involved in some of the Belco Bowl Jams, and that was the first time. So Luke decided, why don't we do an homage to Eric Dressen and that graphic, and that we put that in the bottom of the bowl, and from there, every year myself as a creative director, Cons is the foreman, and everybody else is the hired help. We sort of brainstorm, who are we going to give a nod to?
Yeah.
And we come up with a different logo. So we sort of think, who? Sometimes we go, okay, who would we really like to have at Belco? And we'll put their little iconography in the bottom, and then we'll show it a few months before Belco
as a draw card.
As a draw card, and try and convince them. Or get they can then talk to their sponsor and go, dude, I've got to be in Canberra.
Yeah,
like I can't not be there.
Smart.
So there's method in the madness.
Yeah.
And so we've done tributes to did we do Lance? We certainly did John Lucero, Omar Hassan. So we did that, and we were so hopeful because he skates for Vans, and Vans sponsor the Belco Bowl Jam. We thought, Omar just kills everything. He's such a good skater, and he's such a nice guy. Yeah, we'll do the Omar one. So years ago, Omar was at an event, and there was they call it a doorway or a keyhole. So there's an obstacle that had a chute through it, but it had part of the ramp above the top, and he didn't duck his head far enough, and so he conked his head, axed himself. Oh. And so there's a great graphic of him with his stitches on there. So we put that on the bottom, and then a couple of years later, Lance did turn up, and then. As a tribute to Jeff Grosso, so a very iconic American skateboarder and good friend of so many people in Australia, unfortunately passed away. So we did the acid face Jeff Grosso graphic, and Cons's wife Gabby is the sweetest person in the world, and she must be saintly.
Equilibrates.
Energy. Yeah. Yes, she's an artist, and she does most of the graphics down the bottom for us.
Very cool.
And which is really nice. And then last year, a little bit different. Last year, the organisers, and rightly so, commissioned a Queensland artist, Sid Tapia, to come down, and he spent a couple of days doing that fantastic graphic for Mike D.
Yeah, it looked incredible.
Oh, just and that's Barry. I think I was talking about Barry.
The Dread.
Yeah, and that's his son Lenny. So, so I've got photos of Barry. So, Barry and Lenny are the sweetest, nicest skateboarders in Australia. Full stop. And Barry used to drive around in this old V-dub combi, and it was all hand painted like Sergeant Pepper's.
Cool.
He's a real Beatles freak. So, Lenny, like his son's name's Lenny after John Lennon, and he's got a daughter as well, Oceana. He's a really nice girl as well. But I've got a photograph of a portrait I did, obviously years and years ago, of Barry sitting with his skateboard with his combi in the back, and Lenny is about the same age as River.
Yeah.
On a skateboard.
That's
so
cool.
I'm putting that in the book as well. So I want to put that photograph of Lenny and Barry with the portrait of Mike D in the book, and just talk about how legendary they are. But then I want to put as a little side photo the photo of Barry with Lenny in the background, almost in his diapers.
Yeah.
And just show just how close a family and such cool people they are. Yeah. So, and that's not sure what it is, but I'm starting to realise that I'm enjoying the photos even more than I used to, and just this want to share it with people, and maybe some sort of ego thing, get the book published
Well,
as
do you
well.
think you look back at them differently than at the time
Oh,
when you were shooting?
Yes,
Yeah.
And there's there's sometimes I look at photographs. I'll go back through the back catalogue, through the film. So the slides are easier to look at because they're positive,
Yeah.
and you can hold them up to light and go, oh, yeah, I remember that photo. But going through the black and white film and some of the negative films, so they're in negative
Format, you have to scan
and
them, I guess.
scan them
Yeah.
and look at them. But sometimes I look at them and go, oh my God, like why didn't I send this photograph back in the day? Like,
Yeah.
and now it's like 40 years ago.
Yeah. Well, the book, I guess.
Yes, the book, yeah.
Yeah. I guess the next question would be like, in all the years you've been shooting here, what's changed more, the skaters, the city, or the way you see it all through the lens?
The city's definitely changed.
Yeah.
The skaters have changed. The attitude is still the same. I believe the attitude is still the same. Generally speaking, but the advantage that the committed skaters have got now is, and I don't want to sound like this, like, oh, back in the day, but and I was never, I think I said it in that video clip, like sort of fortuitously, I was not a great skater. Like I enjoy skating, but I was never going to go in the events and blow people away. So I stuck to photography. But even for myself, if I heard of a trick or wanted to learn a trick, I either had to see someone I knew that could do the trick and watch them do it, or wait for a few months for the magazine to come through. And if it might have a single photograph of someone doing that trick, or 1 in 100 chance that maybe the magazine's got a sequence of the trick so you can actually see bit by bit.
Yeah.
Whereas now, on YouTube and Instagram, the kids are, or I won't say the kids, the skaters are seeing the trick being done almost immediately after it's been done. They can slow it down, analyse it, and they're just they're still, like, some of the skaters are so hungry. Yeah. And I think that's another really good thing about skateboarding as well. Like, people, you're always going to get your naysayers going, oh, the Olympics are going to spoil skateboarding, this, that, and the next thing. But to me, it's like surfing, or like even like high art or art, and then you've got street art. It's there for everyone. You've got your Kelly Slaters, the pro surfers that do their thing, and you've got other surfers that are way better or doing their own thing, and you've never heard of them because they're just not interested in it.
Yeah.
And
it's all part of it.
Yeah,
like, it's all part of it, and it'll inspire generations, whether it's like to go in that general direction or reactionary. Like, it's all part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You sort of need that to keep it alive.
And
right?
exactly. And by having it in the Olympics, shops are going to sell more skateboards. Yeah. So it's going to make the availability, the popularity of it. Yeah. And more money for the kids that want to, or the kids, I say, the skaters who want to be sponsored. Yeah. So the city has changed. And like we were laughing about risk assessments and work health and safety, it seems to be slower to get some skate facilities built. Yeah. Obviously, street skating's happening now, so skate stoppers and skaters are using the urban terrain, whereas I'm more of a park vert skater and what have you. Yeah. And yeah, you sort of got like I suppose if anything, there's more parents that are a bit like soccer mums and dads that want their kids to be the next Tony Hawk or Arissa True, which is a little bit weird, but there's space for everybody.
Changes the public perception a bit. Yeah. I guess, like, talking about like skate shops and like selling of decks and stuff like that. I was going to ask you this question in light of like Trilogy just closing down. I guess independent skate shops have always been the heartbeat of local scenes, especially in a place like Canberra. From your perspective, what role have shops like Trilogy, Shifties, Adrenaline played in shaping the community here? And how do you think the decline of those kinds of core stores is impacting the next gen of skaters and creatives?
Unfortunately, I think it's a sign of the times that local community or locally owned skate shops are closing, and I think that's the same with all sorts of retail.
Yeah.
Because the availability of buying things online, but certainly places like Trilogy, Shifties, and Surf Scene, it was the hub. Everyone went there to see what the latest product was. You couldn't go online and just see the latest clip, which accompanied the next product drop, etc. And in a really nice way, and usually there was a couple of skaters that worked in the skate shops, and they were like the gun. They were like demigods.
Yeah.
Like, and I think even myself, like my dad took me to Burwood Skateboard World in Sydney. I think it was before Surf Scene had skate things, and Adrian Jones served me, and and I was almost too scared to talk to him because he was like this.
I am not worthy.
Yes, exactly. Like, and I think it's the same. Like when Byron and Ian Hamilton worked at Surf Scene, and Spud at Trilogy, and even the guys, Dave Donahue and the guys. I'm sure the young kids, or maybe kids are a little bit more cocky and confident now, but that's like, I saw that person at Belco.
Yeah.
Well,
it's definitely, I feel like the pre-teens are like that before their teenagers get attitude. Like, but like it's the same when like little dudes come in asking questions about aerosol, and then it just blows their mind. Like they just look at the shelf and they're like,
and and it's even like, he gave me a sticker. Like, I'm gonna put it in my. Well, look what I put stickers in a scrapbook and what. Yeah. But it's like I can't touch it. I don't want to taint.
This writer from Sydney came into the store like a couple of weeks ago.
Who?
A writer, like a graffiti writer from Sydney, came into the store a couple of weeks ago and left a stack of slaps. Because I was like, dude, I guarantee you 100% if you just leave these stickers here on my counter, all the youngins will just like pillage it. And he's like, I don't know, because like if you do that in Sydney, it's considered really toy. And I was like, who cares? Like kids froth this shit. Yeah, and I had the stack on the counter. It was gone within days. Like I shared it on my stories.
That's so.
And everyone was like, oh, this guy came into the store. How often does he come? Is there a chance I'll bump into him? Like, do you think he'll sign my black book? And I was like, yeah, maybe. Like, I think it's really cool.
I think it is, and that's another thing with and I sort of said like skateboarding and cycling, like you can't the people at Wimbledon can't get off the seats and go down to the court and rub shoulders with Roger Federer or those guys. So to sort of be rubbing shoulders with the skaters, and even like if someone's doing a piece on a wall, do you have the courage to go up and talk to them? What sort of technique are you using? Or what brand paint?
Yeah, what nozzles?
So I'm talking to Carl when I bought that paint from him. I had no idea, like all these different nozzles and
it's changed a lot. And you've kind of, I don't know if it's the same in the skate community. Like some people are like, no, you've got to learn on like the most basic and get your skills first before like, dappling in all the extra like bits and pieces. But I'm always just like, you just use what tools are at your disposal
100%,
and figure it out. Just try. Like, try different things.
Yeah, if you can afford it.
Yeah. We're we're living in a pretty privileged time for all this kind of stuff.
Sure. And you can see on YouTube. And see what
so much
techniques.
content. So much content.
You mentioned the Wimbledon analogy, and when you were starting photography and taking skate photos, did you clock at the time who sort of the gravity of who those people were and the access that you had on the deck at the time, do you think? And what those photos would go on to be 40 years later, like that those are the iconic images of Australia's scene?
Yes and no. I knew I was super fortunate to get the David Fang platform pass, and that's a lot of thanks to Tony Hallam, a Melbourne skater that skated for the hardcore team, and I'm not really answering the question, but I've sort of reflected that generally speaking, I'm certainly more on the introverted side of socializing and outward going. So yeah, Cons and I are like yin and yang, and I think I know the camera is a tool that allows me to approach people, and in a way I sort of think, oh geez, I'm a bit of a voyeur. Like I sort of stand,
to watch.
I like to. I stand in the background and capture these moments, but I'm confident. I've gained the confidence over time to sort of get in there and get the angles that I want. But I'm also aware that there are people that want to take photographs at events like Belco or definitely when Bondi Bowlerama happened, and I'm hopeful that I was conscious enough and I would get out of the way of the general public that were close, like able to put their camera underneath the railing. And I certainly wasn't that full of myself and go, I'm king shit and I've got the platform pass and I'll just barge and do whatever I want to do. So hopefully I was sort of courteous. And even that photograph of Mike O'Mealy doing the taking the photo of Lance at Belco, like I wasn't going to barge, and I just looked at another option to get what I was hopeful would be a representative photograph and a photo that does Lance justice with what he was doing, and also the guys that organised Belco, like to show the crowd as well. And I think I was hopeful that I'll get a few shots that magazines might like, but I think I'm only now realising that thankfully I've taken enough variety of images of skateboarding in Australia, and hopefully being a Canberran through and true, that putting Canberra on the map, and if I'm lucky enough, or if the planets align, I'd like to approach either the National Museum of Australia or the National Library and say, look, I've got a book that's published. I've got an archive of film and digital images and a horde of other associated things, and that's why a friend of mine sort of suggested maybe the museum, because they'll be interested in all the other paraphernalia. And so look, when the time's right, would you like to be the custodians for my archives, and then have it in for perpetuity for people to look at, and it might be the next Mr. Squiggle exhibition at the National Museum.
So keen to see that.
That looks so
They
good.
have to do that.
I think we're going to go next week.
We're going to take the grandkids there. Just those hurry up.
Upside down, upside down. It's so good.
And there's been some great graffiti of Mr. Squiggle. I've seen some really good.
There's down at the Canberra Storage World, sort of is managed by like one of the writers. And it's sort of like, I guess, like it's to me it looks like the new Hall of Fame in Canberra. It's got some really like prolific writers down there and international visitors, and it's sort of like that's where that Mr. Squiggle piece is down. You should go have a look. It's near the Canberra Indoor Sports.
Yes.
Inflatable World.
Yes.
Which also I recommend taking the grandkids to. But it's sort of this. It's become this like outdoor open air like graffiti gallery. It's really impressive.
I've actually looked at that to take some photographs of cars and bikes and things. That's really nice artworks along there.
I'd pretty much love to get that dude on as like a guest.
Yeah. Is that it?
No, that's like a That's like, the
Nearby.
old ShopRite. Like that's an archival photo. But if you look on like my Instagram, I shared like the Mr. Squiggle piece that was done by Seth, one of the writers. Yeah.
I'm really impressed with
It's like a new spot because I feel like Woden Drains was getting trashed and like a lot of panels were getting destroyed. And this area is sort of like, it's sort of a permission self-managed spot by one of the older writers. So everything's like pretty much untouched and it's really impressive.
Yeah. The other spot that I look at for the artwork and mainly because it's near where the Woden skate park used to be, is the squash courts. I think
That's those guys as well. Like it's all
those
old.
works are just amazing. So I maybe in the portraits, I think I've put it in there. Back in the day, so this is back in the 80s, I took a portrait of one of the Canberra skaters. His name's called Locker, and Locker, and we used to call him Lurch. So he's like this really, really tall, lanky skater. And there was a graffiti artwork which was this guy standing with his hand down. And so I got Locker to lean up against the wall, and it looked like the graffiti guy was like pushing him down on the head. I think it's that's the
van.
Yeah, and the one before it has got Lenny in the background. So look at how cool is that car? There's Lenny. That's Lenny who was.
That's dope.
So that's the photograph of Barry and Lenny with the Sid Tapia.
Father's son.
Yeah.
Cut from the same cloth.
Oh,
yeah.
Just the most beautiful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this photo.
Yes. So Matt Hoffman.
One of my favorites.
Matt Hoffman was one of Sydney's better skaters back in the 80s, and if people visit Belco Skate Park, they will notice the cockroaches all over the park, and that's my. I think that's the extent of my my graffiti expertise, doing stencils. But I've and I keep on expanding the cockroach infestation at Belco over the years, and what I like about it is it doesn't scream skateboarding. So people are like, what the hell's going on with these cockroaches? And the really nice thing is I do the outline like a shadow, and then the cockroach is done in black over like different fluoro colours, and it really pops.
Yeah.
So Matt was sponsored by Cockroach at the time, and I knew they were all going to be down at Curl Park in Manly, so I went to one of those novelty shops and picked up a handful of plastic cockroaches. But we got these great photos, and unfortunately Matt's no longer with us. So
that one. Sorry, that's the one.
Yeah. And I mean, they're just like, sometimes I come up with these harebrained ideas, and I suppose that's a great thing about skateboarders. It's like, that's cool. I'm up for it. I mean, that sequence of Mike D and Ian Purvis. So, like again, all the kids are like, oh, can we talk to these demigods? And they're just cards. Yeah, there's no effort required to get skateboarders to ham things up. Again, I'm just so glad that I took these sorts of photographs. And if film wasn't so expensive, I think I would have taken more. Now in the day with digital, you can just shoot like crazy.
Yeah,
and that's the photograph that Sid Tapia used, painted on the bottom, which is just such a nice tribute to Mike D and for his family. But,
so good.
What were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about the graffiti and Locker.
Locker,
and I thought I'd taken the photograph in colour because the graffiti was colour, and so I was going through all my colour files. I think I've got to find this photo. What have I done with it? And then I was scrolling through some black and white images,
It was there.
out it jumped. And that's like 40 years later.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never printed the photograph. So it's funny how the memory, the database, you think, oh, yeah, I know. And I had the shot in my mind. The shot was perfect to how I'd photographed it, but in my mind it was in colour.
Yeah.
But on the film it was in black and white. Yeah.
Have you ever chosen to not shoot something because it didn't feel right ethically or creatively?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Can you expand?
I went up to Brisbane for a holiday and for a skate, and they had a Belco-ish type event at Pizzey Park, which is another iconic park on the Gold Coast. I'll just grab some water.
And by the way, thank you everyone in the comments for commenting, because it's awesome to see. There's lots of chatter and these
fantastic
comments like this is awesome and these photos are great. So yeah, thank you everyone
thank you,
watching
everybody.
live. It's great to see you tuning in and
Yes, so the folk at Pizzey Park held an event and it was on Halloween, so everyone got dressed up in Halloween costumes and things. And Queensland skater Matt Munford, who's was one of Australia's top skaters and living in the States and sponsored by quite a number of companies, was wearing a Jason Friday the 13th hockey mask thing and skating, and I think he had like an axe, like a plastic axe. Anyway, he was skating, and because his vision was slightly impaired with the mask, he came up and did a trick, hung up, and just splattered on the concrete and cracked his head open, and it was just like, do I photograph it or not?
Yeah.
And I didn't, and then it's like, oh, did you get the photo? Like a couple of days later, they're like,
yeah,
did you get the photo? Like what's going on?
Like he himself.
Yeah. They wanted.
I feel like he'd appreciate that. But then I guess it's like that internal dialogue of like, is this ethical?
Yeah.
Is this a last moment? Or like,
it was brutal. Like,
yeah,
skaters take some big hits. They really do. I don't think there's mainly when people injure themselves and it's just like, it's not the right thing. Actually, I did. Bryce McLean, Newcastle skater, injured himself at Belco this year, and the St Ambulance people got him out and were fixing him and stuff. And I know Bryce and I know his dad quite well, and I was taking some photographs, and the St John's people go, no, we can't show our. That's almost like the dentist dad.
Yeah.
We can't take photos of us providing a service and blah blah blah. So, I tend not to take photographs of the skaters partaking in
extracurricular activities. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. And sometimes, but it is their sort of lifestyle and things. And I've quite often pondered. I've looked at the lifestyle and the risk taking that skaters do, both certainly on the skateboard, but also in the way they live their life and their extracurricular activities. And I thought, man, I would be on a hiding to nothing if I was a team manager. I'd have a cardiac arrest, and then it's like, but if you were to try and temper the individuals with their lifestyle and the way they live their life, I think it would adversely impact their skating ability, because that's just the people they are.
Yeah.
Yes, so I've sort of navigated, and I'm a voyeur.
Yeah, you're just there to observe.
Yes, I'm the mild-mannered. Yeah, the event's over, and that's the other thing too. Like, by choice, I really admire street skating, but I tend not to photograph it at all anymore. And some of that is because the skaters, the photographers that are doing it are just so damn good at doing it. And I think most of them are somewhat younger than 60, so they've got the flexibility and the energy to run and carry all that photographic gear. Whereas on a vert ramp or around a bowl, I can just plonk all my stuff down and away I go. And I get right into, I am a spectator that's taking photographs. So I'm yelling and screaming, and I'm usually hoarse at the end of a skate event because I almost get into it too much. I think if I didn't get so excited, I'd have more energy and most probably take more photographs. But I just love it. I'm just so privileged that I've had the platform passes at the big events in the 80s, and fortunately, Chad and I've forgotten his name. How terrible! The other organisers of Bondi let me have access, and so I had the best seat in the house. Like I sort of sometimes forget how limited a view the people in the belches and in the scaffolding seating have in seeing the action in the bowl. And that's the nice thing about the vert ramp, is you can stand back and still see what's going on the vert ramp. Super, super privileged.
Yeah.
Just following on from Sancho's question, and before I do that, Butcher wanted to shout out that he's in the chat. So thank you, Butcher.
Owen. He would be a good one to get in your art show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Butcher.
Yeah, I think it'll add another dimension to do skate art, deck art with some of my photographs in Adam's gallery. Yeah, and it's got the bar. It's got
it's an incredible space, and it's like I think it will draw that crowd that would vibe what you have to display. Yeah.
But on you having the best seat in the house, and how do you see that it's kind of a partnership between the skater and the photographer often getting the shot? And do you have any of those stories of those hours there, or is it more? It's different at the events, obviously, but do you have any of those like long day sort of sessions?
Generally speaking, I don't. The shout outs that I would make, Canberra skater Blake Convey, we were almost on the same wavelength when we went to and Blake was up for skating and could skate absolutely anything. So we would travel around Canberra and around Australia, or the east coast of Australia, and find places to skate. And we'll get to a spot that neither of us have ever been to, and almost within a few minutes go, oh, I reckon we should try, or I was going, being the art director, I think you should try this over there. And he was I was thinking the same thing. And he would damn well make it and make it look beautiful and only take a few shots. And the other skater who's like that now is my good friend Billy Harrison from Melbourne. Oh, there's Blake. Yeah, that's in his front yard. Only just down the road from where I live now. Don't live there anymore. It's Billy Harrison. So Billy's another one of my mothers or brothers from a different mother. And I've been on so many epic skate journeys with him, and he actually took a photograph. So a bit of a sideline. So I used to contribute photographs to a magazine called The Concrete Wave. It was an American magazine, and it ran for quite a few years. And I got to know the editor publisher Michael Brook quite well, and would send him photographs. And a number of us would write stories for him. So I sent some photographs. Oh, we went to the Pothole, so the big full pipe up in the Snowy Mountains. Yep. So that was an epic trip. So that was Billy Harrison and his wife Leah and their two boys, Darij and Adam, myself, Jody, and our two daughters. So our daughters were sort of upper primary school age, and Cons and Gabby, and their two kids, Will and Adam, and we bumped into some other skaters that were doing more downhill sliding skating, and we were all staying at a caravan park, and sort of skated Jindabyne skate park, and was like, okay, let's do a trip to G-High. And for some strange reason, so Billy, Cons, and I went, and another Sydney skater, and we took Cons' kids, my daughters, and I don't think Billy and Leah's children went. Anyway, it was it was like 4 hours from Jindabyne, driving through dirt roads and things, and we were lugging all this gear down to this. It's a full pipe that's part of the hydro water scheme. So you had to walk down this dirt track and over these rocks and obstacles and things. And I think we stumbled across a brown snake or a red belly black snake and what have you. And then we had to tie up a rope and swing from the dam face across
to the other side,
to the opening of the full pipe. So the full pipe was this hole, and then it had a chute that went up. So if they ever let water go down the funnel into it, the water would spray up into the air and shower, rather than be just this huge jet of water just annihilating the local environment. Anyway, so and for some stupid reason, it worked out really well. I took it was on the Australia Day weekend, so I took an Australian flag and a flagpole, and Cons took a few beers with him, and we were all skating, and then Billy said, "Oh, I'll take a photograph of you," and so I started skating, and for some reason, Cons went to the edge of the full pipe and was holding the flag over his shoulder, and Billy took quite a nice photograph of me, so I submitted that with a number of other photos. And a few months later, Michael goes, "Oh, Dave, just to let you know, you got the cover." And I was going, "Oh, fantastic. One of my photos got on the cover." And he's like, "No, dude, you're on the cover of the magazine." Me.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? Some part-time skater, full-time photographer. Yeah, so Billy got the cover of, his photograph got the cover of the magazine, which was pretty super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a photo of that?
I've got a photo of it somewhere. I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a quick search, but I couldn't find it here.
Yeah. So, but that was epic. Another story is a Barry and Lenny story. So in the early 2000s, after Dogtown and the Z Boys movie came out, there was this big groundswell of all these old school skating or us middle age skaters with a little bit more disposable income, and our imagination and aspirations far exceeded our ability. So we'd all buy up all these reissue skateboards and things, and they had a few across the world, but in Sydney, John Fox, who's very instrumental with pushing skateboarding in Australia and was the editor of Skating Life magazine. He organised an old school skate reunion. And so I think that's the first time I caught up with Barry, and he's from the Wollongong area, and my brother lives down there as well. And he said, "Oh, David, we got along quite well." And he goes, "Oh, David, we're going to go and skate this sort of secret spot tomorrow. Do you want to come down?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I'll come down. I'll go and visit my brother." as well. So we anyway. So Barry's a boilermaker and lived in Wollongong all his life, and at the time I'm not sure if they were still the BHP Steelworks. They had built these prefabricated these beautiful full pipes and lined them with a polyurethane. So this beautiful plastic type substance.
Yeah.
And so I had my wife and children with me, and we
come on.
Yeah, we cut the fence. Like I took my primary school age daughter into the BHP Steelworks, and we just barged and skated this full pipe. So that was with Joel Webb was there. So he's a Canberra skater, like iconic Canberra skater. I got a photo of him on the cover of Skating Life magazine on article called "The Wheat Bix Kids" at the DIY Woden Skate Park. There he is there, on the Santa Cruz there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and unfortunately he's injured his knee now, so doesn't skate as much, but he just a beautiful, beautiful skater. And there's Mike D on at Charmwood in the Skating Life as well. Yeah, but how crazy. Like, it's obviously when I had no sense, like enthusiasm and no sense. And
I feel like the kids would have loved it though at that age.
Oh,
Wouldn't they?
I think they would have. Yeah,
but
but
it's
it's
an
just
adventure.
like, can you imagine this, like explaining
to
my wife?
Just a family outing.
Pipe
Oh, that's
well.
that's
cool.
From
So
earlier.
see how it kicks up. So, but apparently it's never had water. That's just a little bit of water trickling through, seeping through the surface, but it's never actually had heaps of water gushing out of it because there was some engineering fault with it. So that's cons. Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's the photo that became the cover. So that's a Billy Harrison photo.
Oh yeah.
And I think and I've done the right thing. I've given Billy the credit on that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you've done such a good job at because often people save a photo but not the details of when and where and who's in it. Yeah. Makes it very easy to find
so much
stuff.
It's so much fun going back and looking. Like when was it? 2009. So, man, it's almost 30 years ago. Almost. It's fun going through it, but it's even more fun sharing it with other people and these sorts of photos with the people. Con's with some colour in his beard.
Is that which one's you?
That's me.
So young. And like very clean skin.
The Bobsy twins. Can we do a deal for you? You want a pipe cleaned?
That's so good. Well, we've been chatting for an hour and a half, but we can do some more. But just so you know, if there's any final questions, Sancho, or final thoughts.
Did you want to show something from the album?
Oh yeah, I think I did speak. Now, if I turn this around,
I'll move the camera so you just do your.
Let's. Here we go. So, I mean, I could talk for hours with this, but this would have to be one of my favourite pages in my photo album, and lazily I haven't updated or produced many photo albums in recent years, but when I was, and I think I mentioned in the video snippet leading into this that thankfully over the years I felt I was so privileged to to be able to take these photographs of some of the best skaters in the world. So if I knew they were coming back to Australia or I'd see them again, I would make sure I'll do 2 prints as a minimum of the photographs that I really liked, and give them one. I felt it was only fair and only right that they got a photograph that I was proud of, and then I would ask them if they'll be kind enough to sign the photograph for me. So I took this photo of Lance Mountain doing an eggplant. I think it was in 1988, down in Torquay at the second ramp right. And it wasn't until the early 2000s when I came back to Canberra and got back more into the skating scene and knew what was going on, because the internet existed. And the other places that I was posted to didn't really even have skate shops. Anyway, so I knew Lance was going to be there, and fortuitously bumped into him and got him to sign the Powell White Sword and Skull deck, which he did. He just did such a beautiful job signing just below the skull. And I gave him the photograph, and he goes, "Oh, wow, is that the photo from the indie ad?" I go, "Oh, no, it's not the photo from the indie ad." And he goes, "Oh, no, it's not. Wow, oh, no, this is way better. Like, I love this." So he took the photograph and he obviously signed it, as you can see in the photo album. And then about 6 months later, I got and how he got my email address, I've got no idea. But he emailed me, he goes, "Oh, David, I'm involved in a project. This company wants to make collector cards, a bit like baseball collecting cards, and they're going to do it with skateboarders. And they want to do a Lance Mountain card, and I'd really like to use the eggplant photo. Would you allow them to use it? You know, you're not going to get any money for it." It's going, "Dude, like, if my photograph goes on a collector card, I'll be stoked. Like,
Yeah.
you know, could I possibly get a card off you?" And so it became a collector card. And then last year, so Lance is a great artist, and he's got his own website and does his art and things, and he produced a series of collector cards. So one series of the collector cards are all done with his iconic Doughboy image, and he also does a series of artworks that are more sort of gritty, thrasher type, like with skeletons and things. And just out of the blue, I think he may have he put my name on Instagram, and he was just showcasing the cards that he had produced, and he'd used the photograph again as the basis for one of the cards, and for some fantastic reason he made the eggplant image the ace of spades. So as or Cons goes, "Dude, you've got the best card in the pack."
Yeah.
And and again, I sort of approached him and said, "Oh, look, you know, I'm going to put an order in for some cards, but with one of the packets, would you mind opening it and signing it for me?" So he was kind enough to do that, and he sent me an artwork as well, and signed it. So
Cool.
yeah, it's just nice. And then do the sort of wanky thing and try and put associated stickers to go with it. So still get excited with stickers. So,
Yeah.
but now with Instagram and things, like I used to take the scrapbooks to the skate parks and show so the skaters could see what was going on. But now it's like, here's my Insta handle.
Yeah.
Just check it out there. But there's something nice about flicking through a magazine and through a
100%.
photo album.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's sort of funny, like people like another story is in the 2000s, Mike McGill came to Australia and skated Bondi, and Mike McGill will be put down in skateboarding history as being the guy that changed vert skating. So he did the McTwist, the 540, which then became the basis for Tony Hawk's 900 that everyone talks about as well. So I hadn't seen Mike since the 80s. So he was skating and skating around, and a few days before Bondi, and I was there taking photographs. And I go, "Oh, Mike, well, when you when you finish skating, I've got a couple of photographs I wouldn't mind showing you and getting you to sign and what have you. And like everyone was just on the platform. There was no media passes or anything leading up to Bondi. And I could sort of tell it was like, oh yeah, just like some telephoto or like lens from back in the crowd back in the day. So when he finished, I took the photographs to him, and it was great. It was just to see the look in his face. He goes, oh fuck, oh wow.
Yeah.
And so it was really, really nice. And similarly, I got to know Jeff Grosso quite well as well. And Jeff was one of those more adventurous souls in skateboarding, or skated hard and party hard as well. And so got to know him quite well. And when I gave him photographs, he was like so appreciative. He was going, oh, Dave, like, dude, I haven't kept anything from back in the day and those sorts of things. So he was really appreciative of that. And then the really nice thing is when he did pass away and Thrasher did a tribute to him in the magazine, they obviously spoke to Jeff's partner and family and went through his archives, and they used one of the photos I'd given Jeff from back in the 80s when he was skating in Torquay in the tribute in the Thrasher magazine, of which Michael Burnside, I'd love to get a copy of that Thrasher sometime down the track. But but that's, if I get a copy, that's great. But it's just really, really nice that with all the photographs they could have selected, they either picked one because Jeff had it in his collection and it still measured up to all the other iconic photographs that they would have had the choice of using. Yeah. Which is, really nice.
Yeah.
So stories for days, I think. And I just think thanks should go to Nick as well for
the video.
doing
the video was so good.
Mustard Flats. Like one other story. So I did, leading up to this, I listened to some of the podcasts and was super impressed with the Hands Like Houses podcast, and sort of joined the dots and know Tomothy who plays in the band. But that was a really, really good interview. And then saw the history of Kingsley's chicken.
That one's so good.
And the connection there is one of the first Kingsleys was at Woden Plaza, so near where the Coles and Woolies is, but outside. And back when we had the little local skate comps that Ian Purvis and Mike D held, if you were fortunate enough to get a place, you were the proud recipient of a Kingsley's chicken voucher and get like a family sized chips and a couple of pieces of chicken, and you were stoked. Yeah. Like, you were king of the world. None of this X Games stuff. It was like Kingsley's chicken, and
pinnacle.
Yeah. And we would skate, we would skate Woden Skate Park, and then where the club was, which is no longer there were these red curbs, so you'd sort of like skate the park, get burnt out for a while, go and skate the curbs, and then end up at Kingsley's and get Kingsley's chips and chicken, and it's iconic. And even with most of the skaters, it's like, actually I was asked a question for a zine that a friend of mine's doing. It's like, best place to go for a coffee, what are some of the best eateries? I was going, dude, skateboarder, number one spot is Kingsley's Chicken. And the most of the skaters from interstate.
Kingsley's.
Yeah, Kingsley's is it.
It's not just skaters though, it's like everyone.
Yeah,
like the hip hop community all love Kingsley's. And they always take international
that
artists.
was so cool. Like the people that you interviewed talking about working at Kingsley's, and it was really good. And I think again, like my photographs and even the memorabilia, what you're producing, Nick, will become an archive of. It's almost like the social folk history of Canberra, not the glossy 7:30 report or state line stuff. This is like the real history of Canberra.
Straight from the source.
Yeah, straight from the source. No, thank you. And yeah, it's saying back to you, like it's this stuff it will get lost if it's not catalogued, and hours goes into saving it, dating it, naming it, keeping it archived. So it's awesome to see.
I'm just super fortunate that I've got a wife that lets me indulge in the, and you've seen, like, it's not just skateboards, there's a few other things that I get fixated on, and one is never enough. So she lets me do that. She lets me go to the skateboarding events, and we've got two great kids and two great grandkids, and we're empty nesters now, so I've got the time to focus on this book.
Yeah.
She lets me come and talk about myself for hours on end with great people.
We thank you very much.
And I think what Sancho wants to do is fantastic as well, because she's got all these connections.
Again,
and
what's the
interesting
word used?
people.
Fortuitous. Yeah, I've got hair in my mouth, so I've been fortuitous with the store, and it's just kind of like all the people I've met. And Nick and I were saying how, like, sometimes when you meet someone from certain people from a community, sometimes it can be a bit gatekeepy, but you've always been so welcoming. Like,
oh, thank you.
Giving an insight into all of this. And I remember when I first met you through the chop shop and stuff, and I sort of was just like, hey, do you want to put your photos up on the wall? And you're like, yes, 100%. Like, it's you've always been so open.
Well, you must be a strange person if you are a voyeur, but you don't want to share, especially when it's things like skateboarding and But I love sharing it and getting, if I'm happy with the image, hopefully other people enjoy it as well, and it makes them happy, and if it promotes and we get more skate facilities or more graffiti spots, even better, because it there's a really good quote, and from being a preacher now, from Churchill, but when he was Prime Minister and the Second World War was happening, and obviously money was tight and they were putting money towards the war effort. Churchill was still putting money towards cultural endeavours, so be it music, art, and what have you, and people in his cabinet going, Winston, what are you doing? Like, we've got a water fight. And he goes, if we don't nurture our culture and who we are as a people, then what are we fighting for? And I think, again, I'm now I worked for Defence as a photographer, and then was fortunate enough and privileged to work at the gallery, which was fantastic. And I'm working for Defence now, and I think I'm quite comfortable, and I'm happy that I work for Defence, because the crazy way this world is, unfortunately, and I think it's really unfortunate that you've got to have a credible defence force to keep the quality of life that we've got in Australia. And I think, bringing up river in Canberra and in Australia, I mean, winters are challenging, but I love the 4 seasons, and myself with my daughters and children as well, that we are so fortunate here. And like you sort of said, like being in Canberra, got access to spray paints, camera gear, internet, and all those sorts of things. We've just got so many opportunities here in Australia and in Canberra.
Absolutely. Well, we'll thank you again, and everyone stand by for the book, because there's a lot of people in the comments of this and the video looking forward to seeing that book, so we can't wait. And
there's no turning back now,
committed.
And that's the great thing. I've got to, there's no turning back, so it's got to happen.
But thank you both, and stay tuned. We'll be back for more episodes, and we'll catch you soon.
See you.
Thank you. Bye.